Hello, IK here. Welcome to Knowledge Where Practice in React and Tailwind. Tailwind first. What is a knowledge and what is a practice in Tailwind? It is very, very important because knowledge is a base for everything. Knowledge is base for practice. If we have knowledge, if we have not knowledge in Tailwind, how we can have practice? And knowledge is this, utility first. It is idea in which it is born 2017. 2017. It is many years before artificial intelligence, before ChatGPT. It means about 6 years before, and artificial changes all. But I thinking that not thinking that, but Tailwind is something what see in the future. To who this world go. And okay, utility first, utility class first. It is a knowledge. It is what we must know is idea of Tailwind CSS. But now this word, here is documentation of the Tailwind CSS. But of course, something else. Principal knowledge, fundamental knowledge before Tailwind and for Tailwind CSS, cascade style sheet, and it is absolutely knowledge, important knowledge. Who don't have knowledge about cannot understand, cannot use, cannot be professional in Tailwinds. It is absolutely for all frameworks about formatting is cascade style sheet knowledge. It is knowledge. But now when we go and Tailwind is practice. But when we now go in Tailwind, we must know what is knowledge in Tailwind. With knowledge, I thinking what is important, what is main idea in Tailwind. It is knowledge in Tailwind. I know all about CSS, for example, and I learn. I go to see what is Tailwind, and I ask myself what is idea, and idea is utility first. And this text, what is here right only beginning, is very, very important. Building complex components from constrained set of primitive utilities. Primitive utilities is here is accent. Now we don't know nothing but here traditionally, whenever you need to style something on the web, you write CSS. It is important. CSS is knowledge, and we use CSS. And why now? What is the reason that I now go to use Tailwind instead of CSS? Let's get read. Using traditional approach, where custom designs require custom CSS. Okay, here is example. Here is a HTML structure. Every HTML element, there is a class, and this is a name of class. Behind of that name, this is name of class. Name of class. And here is a style. Style, every name of class. Here is the class. And in curly brackets, we have style. We have style. Display, max width, margin, etc. And look at it, is style. We write style. It is traditional. And here we write name of class. This style, if it is included in it, when we write it in heading, it would be active in every of this style is active for all our application, for all components for it. But here is it with the Tailwind. You style elements by applying pre-existing classes directly in your HTML. Okay, somebody create style, create classes, and give us a name of that classes, and we use that name of directly in HTML. With Tailwind, you style elements. What elements? HTML elements, elements by elements, by applying pre-existing classes. Okay, read. Here is example. Here, what we see here is the same what we, it is what is here, and also it is the same thing, result of our design. Here is the result of our design. And here it is. And here it is. Okay, let's go up to reading. In the example above, we've used Tailwind, Flexbox, and padding utilities. Flex shrink, and the P6, it is padding, to control the overall card layout. You listen card, but for Tailwind, card is don't exist like something separate. Exist only classes. Tailwind, only classes. And we have named classes, what we call utility classes, and use it for every element. Something very, very confused, something for unbelievable, something unbelievable for me when I listen it. Why they write about that? The max width margin utilities, here it is, etc. All other shadow, box shadow, background white, rounded XL, and shadow, width and height, space between, font size, text color, all this. This approach allows us to implement a completely custom component design without writing a single line of custom CSS. Okay, I see it. Now, I know what you thinking. It is important. I thinking it. This is an atrocity. What a horrible mess. Horrible mess. And you're right. It's kind of ugly. In fact, it's just about impossible to think this is a good idea the first time you see it. You have to actually try it. You have to actually try it. But once you actually build something this way, you'll quickly notice some really important benefits. You aren't wasting energy inventing class names. Uh, how? How I not wasting energy when I confuse now this moment? It is something terrible, something impossible that I use that name. That class is to me unknown. What is behind of that name? I must learn it. I must remember. No, no, no. You must not learn it. You must remember it. It was very, very simple and without energy. I don't read longer. You can read longer, but I said what, and they said what it said. CSS, Cascade Style Sheet. Sometimes I call smart CSS, and I said my students write smart CSS. What is mean? It means hierarchy. Hierarchy. Hierarchy in CSS is very, very complicated, and I never be good in it, and only and very rare students, my students, who take it for his professional life was excellent in that. And you have a big energy, cognitive energy to, at first, you must thinking about naming, that naming something meaning, but naming of class. But all what you named, what you write, is different than developer near you, your colleague in company, or because you work on same project. Uh, Colleague writing and thinking about other names. And okay, my names is my names, his names is his names. And when I look at his code, I must use a lot of energy to convert from my naming to his naming. It is one problem. In hierarchy, when we want hierarchy, it is complete. It is again naming of that hierarchy and what to write in that level of hierarchy, what style to write in that hierarchy. It is all very, very energy received focus and energy, but is useful only for you. Somebody maintains your project is very, there is again cognitive, need cognitive energy to understand your naming, your styling. And look at back there in HTML classes and back in a style to see what that classes there is in style. Very, 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 very complicated. What was Cascade style sheet made wow when it is began? It was that globality. You have one sheet of style CSS, and all your formatting is you can apply that in all that classes. You apply to all applications. Now we have that only one class, Tailwind, only one. Every one class is we can apply in all in all applications, and it is similar apply because every classes what we write in our style sheet, global style sheet, every classes we can apply every in every components in every web page in our web application. Here we have same thing. Every classes, what we call utility classes, we can apply in every component of applications. In both cases, you must write with your hand every class in every, from that Cascade style sheet, in every HTML element, typing name of that class. And of course, you don't know name, and you must look at that name concretely. And also, every utility class of Tailwind, we must by hand type in HTML element. And also, we don't know naming, and we must look at somewhere for a name of that classes. And what is a miracle in Tailwind? Miracle is that you don't need you don't waste energy. You don't need cognitive energy. How it is possible? It is possible because you, in some practice, immediately, in very short time, you are very, very friendly with the naming, with the name of utility classes. And you don't thinking about naming, you don't invent, you don't, when you don't create naming, it means that your colleague near you or in other room, in other town, other country, also don't need think about name because you use same name. And in a very, very short time, you are very, very friendly with that. At first, you look at, but you're friendly. But and even now, when artificial jet GPT can create complete, can apply complete Tailwind's utility, and you can go and look at and experiment and learn. And it is very, very hard. And there is no cascade. It is no more thinking about cascade. I said at first why we don't use inline styling, CSS. Inline CSS and utility is same. Not same. Because inline, I must thinking about my naming is and cannot apply Hoover and some other and some responsiveness. But here is all inline. Name exists, something excellent. And when I need change some style in a utility name, I have a place where I can does it. And in practice, there is a lot of kind what make you productive in a big project. But idea is here, and it is excellent, and Tailwind is miracle because of that. Uh, Here it is. Why not use inline style? Responsive design is not possible. Hover, focus, and other states is not possible. Here is possible. Here is example. Look at this hover on the message. Here it is with Tailwind. When we see this PA-8, PX-8, PY, all that YX, it is some dimension, horizontal, vertical. Y, not PY-8. It is pending pending vertical and pending horizontal. Here it is. Every these utility classes you recognize before and after of classes is a space. Every space means space must be between classes, and classes, name of classes, there is no space. And here is how many, look at spaces, you can see shadow, you know about it, what is it? Y dash 2, it is pending, vertical, and rounded, very known. And all that you can see in design system, and every of that you must write with your hand in every HTML element. Here it is. And at first moment, you think it is something impossible, but it go with practice. It go very lightly and very enjoyable without thinking, because all that name about that name is a part of system design. And maintainable concerns. The biggest maintainability concerns when using utility first approach is managing commonly repeated utility combinations. This is easy solved by extracting components, usually as template, partially or components. All that is for me when I need it, that productivity. At first, now I use ChatGPT for formatting. I understand all. I look at in every utility, in utility like Relax, to see what style behind it, and I will enjoy in formatting Tailwinds how that GPT working for me, because I have knowledge. I know all about CSS, and now I know what is the main idea in Tail, and I like it because it is true. I don't need cognitive energy about classes. All is excellent, serve for me and all people in the world who work in a team today. Okay, of course. Look at here in my uh, for example, button, class of button. If I need that button in other place, I will copy. I will copy this class name. I will copy this class name in other place. And of course, in big application, with the big team, we have a more productive kind of this, and a lot of copy would not be practical and good for maintenance. But that, I said again, that productivity, it is something what you learn in practice when you need it. Again, what is a base knowledge? Base knowledge, absolutely, it is cascade state sheet. You must know cascade style sheet to use tailwind, tailwind uh, tailwind. But of course, you can work only in tailwind without knowledge about cascade style sheet, but it would be robotic. You will not have flexibility, and you will be only for that routine job in some team, and it is not interesting because now when ChatGPT can create all, etc. But knowledge is cascade style sheet. And what is Tailwind? Tailwind is utility class. Utility class first. We use class name, predefined class name we use in our HTML element. HTML element. Of course, here is our application. It is tank one, and you see this form input. There is a class name. Here is H2 level. Input. This is some level, head level. Here is input type. Here is content type. For user interface, user experience, one big knowledge is read books and read experience and read about design. And because here is important, user interface is for our our eyes, sensors for people sensors, men sensors, and it means you must learn about what sensors said our brain when see something. And interaction is when we click in, here is input, we must know visible that that we are in that input, that we are in focus, and we can write for okay, in accessibility theory, we must think in people, all people that can access to our web product. And here is the content, you see. And when it is conditions that both element must have text, save post would be enable, from disable, enable. Same is here. Here is a table. Here is a here is a responsibility. Responsive, not responsive. Here it is. Responsive. table in responsive. Table is important that wrap like this responsive to some minimum, but stay table always, because we must see every post in one row. It must be always in one row. Can not be wrap like here is. You see, from horizontal we now have a vertical wrapping of input and text area, but here it can be, because table must be in a row, every post in one row. And okay, I can see a little. You can always, it is add post form. You can always, here it is class. Delete complete class, and see effect of that. You see, it is effect of that. F5. I know I button about save post. Here it is. I have deleted the button. Here it is, button save post. Now it is only text. And when I get back, now we save post. And I can round it. Look at rounded MD. Now it would be without rounding angle again, and now rounded angle, etc. But you can go in system design to see how we change globally. Here it is, how we change global how we change global. For example, I have here is we can add some spacing. Here is Tailwind config, but I can spacing it is for padding and for margin, and it is in original 1 rem, now is 4 rem, and where we have look at now spacing, but look at where we have add post form. Add post form. You look at pending by horizontal by x axis, and is 4, and pending by y by y vertical is 2. But now 4 means 1 rem, and now I give 4 18 rem, and it is not adding new spacing is here and down, but here is changing for global, And what now I have, look at how it is big spacing from left. It is from left. Uh, and of course, I don't need it. But now we see where we can change system design. There is in documentation you can see all that pixels and all that styles. You can see in details. Okay, it is about Tailwind. Uh, I like it. It is miracle, and I said it for Cascade CSS style sheet when I first time saw it, and it was when Cascade style sheet is first time see daylight. And now I tailwind. I see after 7 years when tailwind see daily light. 7 years I'm late in compare with the tailwind, and with the cascade style sheet, and it was about 2000, I think. I was late 0 day. Same day I know for cascade style sheet when that cascade style sheet plays in practice. And it was a miracle for me. Now Tailwind is a miracle for me. And it is important to see because something else will come what will be miracle for us, but in idea, in important, in main idea, very strange to Tailwind or Tailwind or technology like today's. It is about Tailwind. Now let's see about React. About React, here is a React application. F12, and source, no, elements. Here is a product, HTML document. It is HTML document, HTML web page. Here it is, heading, doc type, head section. After head section, we have styling here. Look at styling. Oh, here. Tailwind. It is, look at style is here. Tailwind is instead of me write that style CSS here, before, after, box sizing, border, HTML, all that was here. Very long. And look at level, heading level. It is styles and the HTML elements. Very big job. Without Tailwind, or if I must coding it, and it was very boring. Now I have share it free from ChatGPT, and after that Tailwind, and thanks for it, because I won't explain, don't like to code. Code is very boring for me. But for anybody, when you repeat and repeat something, ooh, there is a long document, and head is finished here, style finished, head finished, and body, section body start, and in section body we have div ID root, and we have complete HTML here, and classes, visible classes of Tailwind, and look at here it is, all is formatting, label, input, there is, here it is, utility classes, lot of utility classes, and every of our post in post list, and here is table, table, here is table row, and all is, look at class, here in HTML, it is class, but in our code in React is class name. But we have a clean, excellent coding, excellent alignment, hierarchical alignment, HTML document with style, with utility class of Tailwind, and all that produce our React. And it is important, it is important knowledge about React. But when we ask what is the difference when produce React and not produce we by hand, web page by web page, it is dynamically, we have database, it is knowledge from before. But what is different from front-end React? Here is connected to mock server, and the product of front-end is this HTML document, of course, with the data. It is in front of us on the screen. And what is important? What is important idea in React? Important idea in React and all that JavaScript framework is that create component by component, create final HTML document, web page, final, create by component. And every component, how construct component? Construct component by first principle of solid separation by concern. Separation, component separation by goals. Every components, one components, one goals, one concerns. And it is important, and the component is important because of data. When data changes in dynamical website, data changes after interaction, and component, every component, if have data, there is that data changes, and if changes data of with changes some data on the screen, changes only that component, not a complete web page like it was in a PHP, MySQL application, or better say, a content management system application, where we have rendering on the server. And every time, every hour interaction means complete new web page. That web page, HTML document, coming with all HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and every interaction we have. But here in React, we have transport only data. All what application need, JavaScript application go ahead, go at first in our browser or client, and after that coming only data, changes data. This idea was by Microsoft. It is Ajax. Microsoft give public XML one object from email where changes only part of web page, and it was wrapped in Ajax and wrapped in jQuery, and now it is wrapped in React and this framework. That idea that only, and it is wrapped around that. You see what one small object, when we use Ajax, when we use jQuery, some small object, how create environment, now environment, nothing, something like React with all dependency. It is a framework. React itself is a library, but Redux is library. It's a state manager, global state manager, and router is library, and a lot of other dependency, and together it is frameworks. Okay, what I said, it is said that front end, React, JavaScript library, produce with together with that dependency, produce final produce web application by components, and changes on the screen. What we see is almost like a desktop application, very fast, and it is user experience very important. When somebody look at it, he want to see in any page, and that social network where we have immediately that visible our communication both sides. Frameworks like React, JavaScript application was very important, because JavaScript go to create, there is a server, JavaScript can execute on the server, know the server, that server embed web server, and JavaScript can work jobs for front end and now for back end. And again, what is important for React is production of web page from components, and communication between endpoint. It is very important, because React application communicate with API, and with API go directly to endpoint, but data communicate. Data is between, always is data between, without, it is JSON format, but it is without HTML, CSS, and all that package. And because of that, we have save energy, and we less give CO2 in atmosphere, because between client and server, communication is only data, not web page. Web page would be created in browser with HTML and, in browser, but and it is very important. Today we have Next.js framework, and we can does it with React without Next.js. Server side, rendering, because this what I talk is client side rendering, but we can and we need server side rendering. It means produce complete HTML and send to, because of browsing, because of search engine. But we must think that we use server-side rendering only when we really need it. And data communication is very important. I created e-commerce where basket, and when we changes data in our basket, changes article, we don't communicate. We have not any communication with, there is no data communicate between client server, because that communication is stay in our memory, in memory of client. And when we finished, we ask for invoice. Invoice is again only in our client computers, and we can pay that. There is no communication with that changes data, changes article in basket. There is no communication in between client and remote server, and also there is no communication that invoice created in client, and it is very secure, because there is no data go up and down. There is no your private data, and it is interesting that it is very important thinking about communication. Why? Because that UX, user experience, user want to see immediately changes. User want to see very slide changes on user interface, not waiting zero, no loading. And for that, it is important data. And when we can, in every situation, when we can escape from communication, HTML and the data, when we can escape communication data, we escape. We need to escape, because that loading, that user experience to see immediately changes, like desktop, like all happened on our computers, today is imperative. It is knowledge about React, and that knowledge we must learn, deep learn how React library can do that, and dependency, Redux, router, all that together. Deep learning, you will have deep knowledge how React, Redux, router, how they work, and stay on that learning times, how many times you need. Be patient, don't hurry, because it is very it would be very, very good for you when you have deep learning, deep knowledge about that. But of course, you experiment, you practice that deep learning. If you that you coming to deep knowledge, you must deep learning. It means coding, experiment, look at a lot of example, ask yourself, ask question. But now here is ChatGPT who can give you very, very good and code and example and knowledge theory. But your knowledge is important. After all that communication with ChatGPT, with all environment around you, your thinking, your conclusion is important. Your conclusion is knowledge. And I recommend you go to go learn deep learning and take deep knowledge. And after that, when you have deep knowledge, like me about React, after 2 years learning React and produce playlist and produce video, record video. I almost sometimes every day one video. Some video is more than hours, and after that I was connected to mock server. It is very real. I can be on mock server on client, but I use mock server from remote side, free, because of real impression, how data calling, about that timing, loading. And after that, I ask myself how to connect MySQL, how to connect Mongo, the database, and it is not knowledge, it is practice. Why it is not? It is practice, and of course, Tailwind is also practice when we compare with the complete React. I ask myself how I use Tailwind in React, and it is practice because there is a lot of framework for design, and you know excellent React, and you can ask now ChatGPT. You don't need mentors, but if you ask mentors, and if mentors and know and you show confidence about React, you can ask how to connect. Now I am connect to mock server. How to connect to to MySQL database and how to connect to MongoDB. And today it is excellent is ChatGPT. Excellent for me. It is ChatGPT, and you will understand all in that process. Understand how you know the JS server application, that server application who will connect with MySQL. And if you have experience with MySQL and knowledge, deep knowledge about MySQL relation database or other relation database, you know all. It is but when you don't know React, when you don't know MySQL, and you ask, you have very, very shallow knowledge about MySQL, about React, and you cannot ask, you cannot go ahead. You cannot ask a mentor how connect to when you don't know React, when you don't know MySQL. And because of that, don't look at on 2 o'clock when you deep learning React. Don't look at 2 o'clock when you deep learning MySQL. But when you know, when your knowledge is deep knowledge, you can ask what you want to ask. It is not deep, it is not knowledge, it is only practice. It is only practice. And after deep knowledge React, after deep knowledge MySQL or a relation database, you will, your question is very focused, would be very focused and understandable, because you don't want waste times of other, not waste your, not waste other. And if you ask somebody, that somebody know to say it short and directly, and you said thank you and you have it. But for knowledge, it is a big job about knowledge. Of course, the React, you must know HTML and CSS and JavaScript. It is a base for React, knowledge of React. It is knowledge. It is based knowledge, and you must know it excellent. And artificial intelligence help us a lot of in that practice part, help us a lot of in learning process. But deep knowledge, deep learning can only we own. It is our own job, and it can does only every of us for us. And teachers, any sources of knowledge, of explanation, it is environment of learning, ChatGPT. But what you conclude in your head, it is your deep learning, and deep knowledge. Okay, but because of that, when people in faculty, we have a knowledge, deep knowledge about something. And when we go in market, we can ask, we have confidence to ask, because our asking is not shame. Our asking is interesting to people who we ask it, because it is focused, and both sides understand about what they speak, because both sides there is a deep learning, and that question is interesting for communication. And of course, in every practice and moment of practice, it is practice, and it is not knowledge. And but you will confident in it, because you have deep knowledge of faculty, high knowledge possible in that matter. After that, you can go to doctorate, but and magistery, but it is path to science, not science. And science is like arts. It's something different market than go after faculty in business corporation. Okay, it is because of that. But sometimes students said, "Okay, I didn't learn it on the faculty." But no, it's never mind. Faculty is deep learning, and you like that. You deep learn, and in practice, your that deep learning uh, um, feed your practice. Is base for your every for your every moment in practice. Uh, uh, okay, if you know somebody that needs video like this, recommend me, write in social network. If needed, subscribe, like it. It's all for this video. Thank you for watching this video.